Greetings and salutations. So, this episode isn't particularly about any technology or reviewing energy. I want to talk about protesters, special interest groups, and we'll say crusading politicians is the best way I can describe it. So, I'll give you some background. Let's talk about Kinder Morgan. I haven't worked specifically on the Kinder Morgan pipeline, but I've worked on a lot of pipeline design. As an engineer, I spend hundreds and more likely thousands of hours. As part of a bigger project group, each one of those people spends hundreds and thousands of hours doing design. We do design reviews. We do things like hazard and operability reviews, or HAZOP we call it, transient analysis, hydraulics. Other disciplines look at materials, stress, environmental, geosystems, geomatics, geosciences, geotech. So by the time we get through the design, all of us have put blood, sweat, and tears and effort into this, wanting the best design we can. Keeping in mind, as a professional engineer, I've taken oath to protect the public. So ultimately, the system I design is going to be safe to the best of my ability. That's what the reviews are for. So keeping in mind that I've put all this effort in, I've tried to do the best design, best tools, best in practice. When I'm sitting across the table from we'll say, special interest protester with folded arms saying, I don't like it, and can't give me a valid reason why, do you understand why I get cranky? And I have every reason to be cranky. And the first thought comes to mind is, are you really a protester? Are you a paid protester? Are you passionate about this because you believe in it, or it's because somebody is paying you to be a protester? The protesters that I respect, I admire, and quite frankly, I want input from, are those the one that have an opinion that is based on either experience, it's based on observation, or it's based on, we'll say, math. For example, Kinder Morgan pipeline. Okay? Man, that is a well-engineered pipeline system. They put a lot of design in that. If someone came along and said, I've been living next to the existing pipeline, it's been great for 50 some years. However, where the new pipeline's coming in, it's going across a creek. I've been watching some weird movement on that creek. Have you looked at it? Right away, I'm not going to say, oh, go away, protester, you're annoying me. I'm going to say, you know what? Let's get the geotechs out here and have a chat. Have we looked at this? If we haven't, we better go back and make sure we have. But in projects of that size, we usually look at it. That's why we got so many disciplines on a project team spending so many hours to make sure they've studied this. So I guess that's part of the point of my irritation and why some of these blogs come up. If you need information, find a geek like me, an engineer that knows something, and talk about it. One of the protesters I had in my office years ago, was from the Pembina group, ranting and raving about tailings. Oh, tailings bad like this. Partway through, something dawned on me, and I said, do you even know the oil sands process? You know which tailings are bad? Because some of them really aren't that bad. To this guy's credit, he says, and I said, do you want to learn? So I spent 2.5 hours in my office with a person that's basically protesting the type of work I do, educating him, so at least he could have a valiant argument with me. I'm totally for that. So when I rail against these protesters, and the reason some of these protesters get all this kind of heat put back at them, like some of the protesting stuff I've read about, there's people that are downright vicious. Okay? We try to not take it personal, but when you've put tens of thousands of hours into a design, it's not that the fact that somebody is protesting it. If you want to say, I get mini protests all the time on my design, I've got a review of the operations, I got to review it with safety, I got to review environment. I don't take it personal. They have their input, they have their opinions, they have their experience, they have their math to say, we need to make this better, we need to make this a certain way, we need to make it safe. I don't have a problem with that. Never have. Respect that. So paid protesters, I've got a serious problem with that. You're being paid to stir the shit, but you have no valid argument. Get out of my way. Don't waste my time. So this extends to certain politicians. Okay, Bob, Dan, I'm not targeting you. I don't expect the politician to know. However, if a politician is standing up there crusading against something, somebody on their staff better be able to stand in front of somebody like me and have an actual, convincing, intelligent conversation, if you want to call it an argument or a dispute. But stand in front of me and say, I'm crusading on this because I feel it's wrong, doesn't hold water. I'm sorry. Feeling doesn't help. Tell me a story. Give me some science. Give me some math. Give me some experience. Give me some observations. Now you've got my attention. Okay? So this will kind of feed into the next little bit why I'm getting cranky. And you got to keep in mind, I've actually had a lot of conversations. I've had heated debates with people on the internet. And it finally dawned on me, some of these people don't see the bigger picture. So it gives you more background on why I'm doing this vlog. All right, have a good evening. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.